new, but you can still take out your notes here. Just because, that way I can say you covered it, otherwise sometimes your parents will come and say, blah, blah, doesn't remember you talking about any of that. And I'll be like, well, blah, blah, what are you listening
Yeah, blah,
to?
blah.
So you need the blah, blah.
It's probably true.
Write this example down, write 12.6 with 3 decimal places. Give you a chance to write that when we talk just shortly about this. Let's say we have this number. Okay. When the book or people talk about decimal places, okay, they simply mean places after the decimal. This 5 is what we call the first place after the decimal. It's really just the first number. This 3 is the second place after the decimal. 6 is the third place. And the 8 is obviously the fourth, and so on. It follows that little pattern. So when you're asked to find 3 decimal places, that means they want you to change 12.6 so that it has 3 digits after the decimal. And we talked about this before. All you need to do is stick in the zeros.
Yes.
Okay, now this means the same thing as that, but they are said differently. Okay, you say this is 12 and 6/10. This is 12 and 600 thousandths. Okay, so generally in math, unless we're told to do this, okay, you always want to write it. This is much simpler to look at and say than this. Okay, we don't want to be just throwing on all kinds of zeros. Sometimes we need to do that when we do math problems to do whatever. But always, 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 given the choice, the book doesn't tell you, you're always going to write it without the ending zeros because it means the same thing and it's much easier to say. Okay, you don't want to be going and doing this here, 15.8, and then you're writing your answer like this. Because who knows? I mean, 15 and 8/10 is pretty easy to say. How do you say this one here?
Well,
Ryan says
800,000 millions.
it is 15 and 800,000 millionths, and nobody wants to go there. So please, okay, anytime you're given the choice, and that was Ava on for today's when you said you wrote, the answer was supposed to be 0.70 and you wrote that 0.70. They're supposed to be 0.7. They're both right, okay, but always in math, when we're given the choice, you're going to pick the easier one to write down just because it makes it easier on everybody involved. The other thing they're going to ask you is, we talked about this yesterday, comparing, if you have this 12.6 and you're comparing it to 12.600, okay, you're going to tell me that is, how do they compare, Logan?
12.600.
It is bigger. It is bigger? No, for the simple fact that we just talked about, you can add as many zeros behind decimals as you want. I can rewrite this so that it has 3 decimal places. Those numbers are exactly the same. They are equal. Okay, so you just want to keep that in mind because you look at this and it's got so many more digits and we're so used to thinking that more digits means a bigger number, but that's kind of like second or third grade or whatever math. It's just something that yeah, I'm sure. 0, or this one here. Which one's bigger, 0.4 or 0.04? Which one, Sammy, is bigger?
0.4.
Okay, even though they're the same digits, Sammy's right, this is right, because if I made this into the same amount of digits and put 2 decimal places there, this is a 40, this is a 4. This 0 is important because it holds down a place. You can't get rid of zeros that are between numbers and decimals. You can only get rid of the ones at the end. So yeah, this one here is by far bigger than that. This is like having 40 cents, this is like having 4 cents. So I think everybody's probably about as happy as they're gonna be.